but I just wanted to make sure and emphasize and honestly give credit where it's due, because the past couple of weeks we've seen a few different things kind of happen with these other sports. Super Bowl done and gone in football. Then we had, as it goes, when football's over and baseball hasn't started yet, you've got those few week stretches, typically in February, where it's only hockey and it's only basketball. And with those two sports, respectively, they each kind of host and put on their own all-star weekend, all-star mid-season festivities. And hockey did it, and then basketball does it, I think, the weekend following. They don't want to have overlapping scheduling stuff, right? Which makes sense. But after just partially tuning in to some of the NHL stuff, after partially tuning in to the NBA stuff, I think it goes without saying at this point, most people would agree, but it's got to be pointed out, and credit where credit is due. The only all-star festivities and weekend or collection of days and events that's worth watching for even 1 millisecond anymore is only the all-star festivities involved with baseball. That's it. Unless you are so bored and have, I don't even know. I was going to say, like, I'm trying to come up with justification for these episodes or these events. NFL flag football Pro Bowl and games, NHL 3-on-3, four team all-star bracket and skills contest, NBA skills contest, 3-point contest, dunk contest, and then the all-star game. And then with baseball, it's the home run derby and it's the all-star game. Unless you are like such a diehard fan, unless you're a diehard fan of football or basketball or hockey, and you have nothing better to do, and you are so dialed in that you want to watch the all-star festivities. For those that are not necessarily all the way in on those sports, the desire to watch the Pro Bowl or the Pro Bowl Skills Showdown or the NHL Skills Showdown or the 3-on-3 all-star games that they've implemented, or even the 3-point contest or the dunk contest or the all-star game, the desire is not there anymore. These leagues have to start incentivizing or learning or creating a situation that makes it more desirable for these people to watch. Otherwise, moving forward, if these other leagues can't take a page out of the MLB playbook and put on events that are as desirable to watch and as electric as the home run derby and the all-star game itself, until the other leagues can find a way to duplicate the desire, the watchableness, I don't even know how to describe it. Unless the NBA, and I'm trying to think if there's other all-star festivities and other things that are going on that are in other professional sports leagues that might be worth watching, but I just can't think of anything. So unless the NBA, NFL, and NHL can find a way to duplicate the excitement and desire to watch that the MLB has for their all-star festivities with the home run derby and the all-star game, which are both the only two watchable all-star events in any of the 4 pro major sports. Unless they can find a way, unless the NBA, NFL, NHL can find a way to duplicate the excitement and watchability of the MLB all-star festivities with the home run derby and all-star game, which are the only 2 all-star events that are even worth spending your time watching of the 4 major pro sports in America. Unless they can find a way to duplicate that, here's what we need to do. Moving forward, let's name the all-stars. Let's name the all defensive teams and season-long awards. Half of the all-star festivities in the NBA are a popularity contest anyways. In the NFL, we name certain guys to the Pro Bowl, to all these season-long teams, right? All-star teams in the NFL. Half the quarterbacks don't want to come, aren't going, are already playing in the Super Bowl the following week. So we end up with a situation where we've got Geno Smith and Gardner Minshew playing in the Pro Bowl. Those guys aren't Pro Bowlers. And we get to a point in the NBA where these guys don't want to be there. And I know this isn't baseball specific because we know a baseball show, right? But overall, the point stands, okay? The only watchable all-star festivities remaining in 2024 out of the 4 major pro sports in America are the MLB ones, the Home Run Derby and the All-Star Game. The other 3 sports of the major pro sports in America, the All-Star festivities are literally unwatchable. And that's through a combination of different things that have unfolded over the last 15 to 20 years and still hold strong and true in the MLB, which is those guys in the MLB All-Star Game and in the Home Run Derby are incentivized to be there, want to be there, take pride in being there, and give it close to a maximum effort when they participate. I'm not really sure why. Maybe it's because baseball in general as a sport in a one-game situation isn't necessarily as physically taxing, of course, as a football game or a hockey game or even a basketball game to a degree. But even the old footage of the NBA All-Star games with some of the stars of stars participating, playing defense, heading into the fourth quarter, and the score's like 110 to 107. You're like, wow, this is a good regular NBA basketball game. It just happens to be a bunch of stars trying really hard against a bunch of other stars. And in the NFL, it's hard because there is no incentive for those guys to be there. There's no reason for them to take pride in being in the Pro Bowl. It used to be a little bit, like a tiny, tiny bit, but it was like after the season. And of course, these guys aren't going to hit each other by any means. They're not going to do anything that crazy. They're not going to jeopardize or, put themselves at risk at all, which is understandable. So then the NFL tries to incentivize it or make it easier for these guys to show off their athleticism by doing the flag football stuff and the skills competition. Again, not a huge motivating factor for these guys to go out and give it everything they've got or for people to watch. I don't really want to watch a bunch of guys play flag football. I don't think a lot of people want to watch guys play flag football. Not to mention, most of the incredibly talented quarterbacks and players find themselves either not participating in the Pro Bowl stuff in the NFL or they're in the Super Bowl the next week. So they're not there. And then we end up with the Pro Bowl where we've got Gardner Minshew and Geno Smith. No disrespect, but let's be honest. The Pro Bowl used to mean something a little bit more. Pro Bowl selection was like an accolade that you would list off and be like, this guy's a Pro Bowler. Gardner Minshew, come on. That means nothing now. At the moment Gardner Minshew gets named to the Pro Bowl, the validity of the Pro Bowl just loses everything. So instead, let's go ahead and bang the Pro Bowl and let's just name these guys to it, to the all NFL team, to the Pro Bowl team, to whatever. Let's do that. Let's go ahead and bang it. Let's save everybody time and money. Make sure these guys stay healthy and get to a point where we don't need to do it. But the NFL they can't keep up. The NHL, I'm sorry. It's just, here's the bottom line. The MLB guys that get named to the All-Star Game and the Home Run Derby to this day still continue to take pride in it, still give close to a maximum effort. The pitchers and the nature of baseball itself is a sport where you can go to these games. You can have bullpen guys and starting pitchers come out, works into their throwing schedule or works with their regimen anyways. So the bullpen guys are going to come out, throw 100 miles an hour. The hitters can just stand in the box and take an at bat, give it a good old college try, max effort. And if it don't happen, it don't happen. You won't see a ton of guys in the All-Star Game like laying out, I guess. But in the Home Run Derby, again, it's not a detrimental event to participate in potentially if you do so as a player. You hit a bunch of homers, you put on a really good show. It's fun for the people to watch. And those are the only 2 events of any all-star festivities of the 4 major pro sports that anybody should watch anymore. The other ones are a complete waste of time and a joke. And that's because the MLB still has that factor that the other leagues don't, which is these guys are giving close to max effort. But on the other side, these other all-star festivities and events, NBA All-Star Game, NFL Pro Bowl, now flag football, and I don't know as much about the NHL, but I know for a fact in those other 3 major pro sports, football, basketball, and hockey, with basketball and hockey specifically having the All-Star event and festivities smack in the middle of the season, those guys would just rather have a week off to let their body rest, to get their legs back underneath them, to get a breath of fresh air, to go on a quick little 3 or 4 day vacation with the family, than to go halfway across the country or all the way across the country in a lot of cases for some guys and play a pickup basketball game. It's a waste of time for these guys. They don't care anymore. They don't take a ton of pride in it anymore. They take pride in getting named to the All-Star team, but with the fan voting integration, a lot of other factors, it's kind of already become a popularity contest. But these guys do want to be named to the All-Star team. It's an accolade. It's a negotiation piece that they can use in contract situations. But as far as playing and participating in the game itself, there's no incentive for these guys anymore. Same with the Pro Bowl, and I'm assuming similarly to the NHL. In fact, I saw a video of a guy, I think he was on the Seattle Kraken, hidden camera situation where the coach calls him into the office and names him as an All-Star and says, "Congrats, man, you made the All-Star team. You're heading to Toronto." And he could not have seemed less excited because realistically, he wants a week off. He wants to go on a trip with the family. He said he had a trip planned with the family already. So these guys, it's like, it's not really quite enough. With the MLB, the All-Star break is only, I think, 5 days, pretty much 4.5 days. It's like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So it's not enough time to like go on a big trip. It's not enough time to do a whole lot. And for baseball guys, they've got a ton of days off worked into their schedule, combined with the fact that baseball in a one-game situation is not necessarily the most taxing thing of all time. So, moral of the story, MLB deserves credit for how they've created the All-Star festivities and situation and maintained its watchability throughout the years. These other three major pro sports in the United States, NFL, NBA, and hockey, my proposal would be name these guys to the All-Star situation, maybe have like a banquet, like a one-night deal, invite them, announce it, let these guys all get together and hang out, still have the prowess of like, oh, you're only invited if you're an All-Star. So there's still some incentive for these guys, obviously, to be named All-Stars as an accolade, but don't force them to just go through the motions of playing a game or skills contest when these guys clearly just don't want to be there anymore. They used to take pride in it. They used to want to be there, but a lot of guys now just want to win championships and they want to play well in the regular season in the games that actually mean something. Doesn't mean anything to be named an All-Star MVP in the NBA. You're going to take that into your contract negotiations and be like, well, I was a All-Star game MVP. GM would be like, did you actually just bring that up? Or are you pranking me? Because there's no way. Nobody cares. Oh, you were an All-Star? Okay, that holds weight. But winning the dunk contest means nothing. Not to mention, by the way, we pretty much reached limitations in terms of human achievement when it comes to the NBA dunk contest. Everyone agrees 2016 was the last time the dunk contest was like must-watch TV. After that, it's just impossible to duplicate. You can't jump any higher than what we do. But in baseball, you know these guys are going to come out every single year. Pitchers are going to be throwing 100 miles an hour. The best hitters are going to be facing off against the best pitchers. It's a great matchup. It's mano-a-mano. It's got that incentivized watchability combined with the home run derby the day before where these guys are smashing balls all over the yard. Incredible feats of human achievement. And it's the only All-Star festivities that anybody can and should watch moving forward. The other three leagues, let's go ahead and find a way to just bang the All-Star games. Name the All-Stars, have a banquet, have a dinner, have something. These guys would rather have a few more days off and the accolade than the actual process of the games, the skills contests, and everything else. I promise. So hats off to MLB. Good job keeping that burning desire and passion alive when it comes to their own All-Star festivities. That's awesome. It is. It's really cool. I like it.